What is going on, Hive Warriors? So today we have a question that I'm going to take from this TikTok video, and I'm going to kind of elaborate on. Should you fast every day? Now let's go ahead and watch this video. I think I watched half of the video, but we'll go ahead and watch the full video with you guys, because even whatever, no matter what she says in the video, I might touch on the things that she said in the video, but I'll give my thoughts on it based on the scientific data. If you should be doing intermittent fasting every day. All right, let's go ahead and watch the video by Suzette Brown 32. I think this is her second appearance on this channel. Let's go.
So I get this question all the time. Do I fast every day? Absolutely. My question is, was no one going to tell me that intermittent fasting has been around forever? But I do get this question all the time. And yes, I absolutely fast every day because there's so many benefits. Let me share with you. First, I lost over 100 pounds and I'd like to keep it that way.
That's an important element to her decision to do intermittent fasting every day, because she wants to maintain the lifestyle of doing that. The moment you start doing other things, it's very easy to fall back into previous habits and stuff like that, simply from deviating 1, 2, 3, 4 days, thinking it's not going to hurt you much, but then giving your body this kind of like reminder of the things that you've done in the past, and it kind of starts to send these hormonal signals, or it can send these hormonal signals to get you to eat a little bit more, or get you to break your fast a little bit more every day. And then by the time you know it, you've completely come off of the regimen, and you are starting to gain the weight back. So what she's doing is she's trying to ensure that it is a lifestyle where, in my opinion, you can break off of it. If you want to stay consistent, you could break off of it with as an exception to the rule, but not as the rule. But let's continue.
It's a great way to maintain my healthy weight, as well as all the other benefits such as cancer fighting properties, great skin, great hair, and helping you target that stubborn body fat.
Well, all those other health properties that she mentioned, they are tied to reduction in weight. So the more you lose weight, actually there's a period where you could lose too much weight, obviously, and that's unhealthy. Get stuff like organ shrinkage. But what we're talking about is when you're overweight. If you're overweight and you reduce weight, a lot of that stuff come into play. You know, your skin heals. You could skin. It protects skin. It protects against cancer. It definitely protects against diabetes, type 2 diabetes. So it's something that is important. Just losing weight on its own is very important. And of course, there's other elements. There's studies that have been done with intermittent fasting where they check the metabolic effects that it has on your body, and they've looked at blood samples to see, and have people do intermittent fasting without losing weight on purpose, just to see if there's any of those metabolic health markers that trigger from intermittent fasting itself. And they have seen a few intermittent fasting metabolic health markers or triggers happen even without the person losing weight. So independent of weight loss, because normally some people will say, hey, look, you're getting these health benefits because you have weight loss that's happening from intermittent fasting. You're not getting it from intermittent fasting. But there are elements like some of the stuff that she mentioned that come from intermittent fasting, even without the weight loss, meaning that you're getting this because you are doing intermittent fasting.
I made this a lifestyle. I love the benefits. If you've not been able to lose weight, it's probably because you were probably like me and eating way too many times a day, eating those 5 to 6 times a day. If you want to lose 5 pounds this week, intermittent fasting is the secret. Because when you fast, you're targeting your fat for fuel and energy. And that's how you start finally targeting that stubborn belly fat without hours in the gym, without keto, without calorie counting. Now, the key to speeding up the process
Now, keep in mind when she says without calorie counting, I don't want people to get those things confused. You can lose weight without calorie counting, and intermittent fasting is a easy way to do that. That does not mean that calories don't matter. It just means that because you're eating in a smaller window, because you are more aware of the foods that you're eating, because you're not grazing outside of your fasting during your fasting window, you end up being in a calorie deficit without having to count your calories. So not counting calories does not mean that calories don't matter. It just simply means that you have a system or a structure like intermittent fasting that allows for you to kind of not have to pay attention and still be successful. Now, there are people that can overeat even if they do intermittent fasting, and they will not be successful because there will be nothing for you to burn because you're at an energy surplus. So just keep that in mind. Calories still matter even if you don't count calories.
Is using tools that will help you stay in a fast. I did use tools to help me. It's called the Feel Great Plan. These tools helped me stay fasting longer. It helped me feel fuller longer, and it got me where I needed to be with my gut health. If this sounds interesting to you, just click the link below, do your research, and make an educated decision if this is something that you want to try. You got this. You can do this. Follow me for more tips.
Okay. All right. So the question is, should you fast every day? Should you do intermittent fasting every day? That question is equivalent to me asking you, should you be consciously eating correctly every day? Should you be consciously eating correctly every day? Yes or no? You don't have to. If you do it, will it hurt you? No. If you do it, will it help you stay consistent? Yes. If you break off 1 or 2 days, will it completely disrupt everything that you've done? No. Can if you stop doing it for so many days consecutive, is there a possibility that your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, is going to start shooting up a little bit more during the time where you should be fasting and kind of push you into getting hungry when you should be fasting, when you've already turned that over where you're not hungry when you're fasting? Yeah. It is the same thing. Now, this is in the sense of, are you going to continue to be successful with your weight loss? That's how this is where this is what I'm referring to here. Now, with the fear mongering that has happened, and I've had a lot of conversations with so many different people. Heck, I have a video on my channel with Thomas DeLauer where, I flew over to his studio and we filmed and had this debate about, should you fast every day? Should you not fast every day? He, at the time, I'm not sure if he's changed his position, but at the time, he was of the mindset that you shouldn't fast every day. And one of the things that was used a lot was there was a study that showed, I believe it was an increase in oxidative stress and an increase in forget the hormone that was, but there was an increase in oxidative stress, and it showed that there was a negative to people fasting for 5 days. Now, that study has been used by so many people to say, oh, you see, you can't fast for so long. Look, 5 days of fasting and their oxidative stress has gone up. And it's just not good for you because, and there's properties in this as well that's showing that it's breaking down muscle and all these different things. That study was not a study of people doing 5 days of intermittent fasting. That study was 5 days fasting consecutive, which means it was a 5-day fast where they didn't eat at all for 5 days. Now, I feel like that's misleading to use that study when what people are doing is not eating, then eating, not eating, then eating. People are not fasting for 5 days consecutive. unless you are. But intermittent fasting is not fasting for 5 days consecutive. If you fast for 5 days consecutively without eating, you are essentially doing prolonged fasting. So my point is, there aren't any studies that show that there is a negative effect to doing intermittent fasting for ever if you wanted to. The studies that show intermittent fasting compared to just caloric restriction for over a year, there's no difference between the two in terms of do people feel more hungry with intermittent fasting, or is there something that's going on that's negative with intermittent fasting? They don't see any difference between the two. So essentially, yes, you could fast every single day. You could do intermittent fasting every single day. Do you want to do intermittent fasting every single day is the question. Do you have to do intermittent fasting every single day? No. But my rule of thumb is make intermittent fasting the rule, make everything else the exception to the rule. So, for example, make sure that on a base level, and this is for you to continue your success and to maintain your weight loss, right? On a continuous level, you're always basing your day on you will intermittent fast. If there is something that comes up and you have to create an exception, whatever it is, a wedding, event, family get together, meeting people for the first time, so like a travel thing that you did, and you were meeting with people, they were eating, you had to eat, whatever it is, those moments are not the rule. Those moments are the exception. Make sure to bounce right back into intermittent fasting. The reason I say this is because if there's too many consecutive days, or if there's too many days spliced in there where you're not doing intermittent fasting, your biology and your hormone is going to start to do a change where it wants to start eating more again. And you've worked so hard. Remember those beginning moments when you were trying to start doing intermittent fasting and how tough it was, how hungry you felt. And then remember after like 2 to 3 weeks where you're like, whoa, what the heck? I'm not even hungry. I'm forgetting that I have to eat from not being hungry. Like, I'm actually forgetting that it's my time to eat. Remember that, and how easy it has become for you to do intermittent fasting. But also think that you could lose that if you do too many consecutive days of not intermittent fasting. Is there any negative thing? Does your body adapt to intermittent fasting and now it doesn't even work? No, none of that stuff happens. You don't have to worry about it in that sense. If you want to have a more flexible ability to have a social kind of life, in the sense that you want to be able to eat when your friends aren't eating and whatever, you can do that. Just make those the exception. Don't make them the rule. Keep intermittent fasting as your baseline, and make sure that you aren't doing those things on too many consecutive days, and you should be fine. Go ahead and leave the comments down in the comment section down below. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. This is Edward from Fledge Fitness, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, guys.